Blessed are those who have washed their robes. In the far horizon, there stood a great gate at the edge of time, blazing with light that no shadow could penetrate. It led to the city of New Jerusalem, a place of peace, joy, and unbroken communion with the Creator. The tree of life bloomed at its center, its fruit eternal, its leaves healing every sorrow. But the gate was guarded, and not all were welcomed through. Among the crowd that had gathered outside was Elias, a man whose robes were once stained with every kind of sin. He had lied and stolen, taken what was not his, lived for pleasure and called it freedom. Yet in the final years of his life he had been broken, undone by truth. He had fallen to his knees in a ruined chapel, whispering a prayer he barely believed, and found his heart pierced by grace. Over time he learned repentance was not a moment but a walk, sometimes slow, sometimes stumbling, but always toward the light. He had washed his robes in the Lamb's blood, not a literal washing but a surrender of all he had been, so he could become something new. The robe he wore now was white, not because he had earned it but because it had been given. As he approached the gate it opened, not by his hand but by mercy. Inside the city sang with voices like rushing waters. The tree of life stood before him, glowing with welcome, but others stood outside. Tara, once a prophetess of illusion who called herself wise but bent truth to her will. Thorn, who had built monuments to himself and demanded others respect him. Lisa, who cloaked cruelty in charm and never once admitted she was wrong. They had been shown the same grace Elias had known but rejected it, choosing darkness dressed in light. Even now they scoffed at the gate, demanding entry on their own terms. A voice from within the city cried out, "Blessed are those who have washed their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter by the gates into the city." And then, outside are the lovers of falsehood. The gate opened only for the righteous, otherwise it always remained closed, not in vengeance but in sorrow. Inside, Elias knelt beneath the tree and wept, not from grief but from joy too deep to speak. What about you? Will you be among the ones who wash their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life and will go through the gates into the city? Take a moment and ponder. Your decision will have far-reaching results, reaching to eternity. Jesus is coming soon. You need to be ready.